skin. It rips. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
So have you ever done anything for me that you really, really didn't want to do because you knew you hated it and you weren't going to get any benefit out of it, but you still did it?
I know. I do things because I love you. Even if I don't want to do them, I do them anyway.
So you're guilt tripping me now. Got it. That's the level that
That's
we're at.
how we're starting off an episode. We're gaslighting somebody today.
I do it out of love.
I do it out of love.
Well,
you made me make you watch Pink Flamingos. You see what you did?
you may. Wow.
Oh, fuck. Welcome to Night of the Horror File. That's right.
Sup.
And yes, sup. Is that what the kids are saying these days? Sup? You know, sup used to mean having supper. Like I would sup with someone, you know?
I don't think that was
It's an old
ever.
word.
I don't think so.
No?
No.
Maybe not. Or
I think it's always meant.
Anywho.
What's up?
Anywho, welcome to Night of the Horror File, and this is your first episode. This is a movie podcast that takes a horror movie or a genre film, as in today's case.
It's a horror movie.
It can be. Yes, I'll explain why.
It's a horror in my brain.
But today, goddamn, sorry, I got the giggles. But anyway, and I make my beautiful wife, Brittany, watch said movie, and we get her virgin opinions on it, which today's feature is something
So you had to
new.
use the word virgin.
Yes, I have to. Well, I planned. I was like, I think this might be our most outrageous episode to date.
I was thinking this probably should have been a commentary. This would have been a hilarious commentary.
We could still do this as a commentary.
No, I'm never watching
You know
this
what
movie
we should
again.
do? We should do one of John Waters' other films, Female Trouble, as a commentary. That would work just as well as this movie. And in fact, sorry, I do love this movie today, but I think Female Trouble is a more superior film than this one. But anyway, anyway, what did we watch this week?
Pink Flamingos.
That you sound so excited. That's right. And it is Camp Waters month. That's right. We're joining camp. We're I love that name, Camp Waters. It just makes so much sense with all the camp we're going to be talking about this entire month. Well, that's what I chose. That's what I chose for Pride Month, you know, because we always do something special for Pride Month. I think last 2 Pride months, I think we did a lot of gay horror.
Did we?
Queer horror. Maybe just one Pride month. We've only been around for 2 years. What am I talking about?
Yeah.
We didn't start doing theme months until our 2nd year.
Right.
So last year we did a ton of awesome gay and queer horror, you know, like Rocky Horror Picture Show.
Oh, yeah.
We did A Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2. We did some
thank
great
God
stuff.
I'm not singing.
Yes.
Thank you for not
But
making
I was
me
like,
sing.
you know, every horror movie podcast is going to cover gay horror, you know, and queer horror.
Are they?
The LGBT. Of course they are. They're going to talk about that through the month. And I was like, let's step outside of the box. Let's talk about some other queer movies. And in today's case, a very gay director.
Very.
Very. Happy Pride Month, though, everybody. And so I know a lot of the questions on everybody's mind is, why would a horror movie podcast tackle John Waters movies? Is that horror? Well, it depends on how you look at things, especially today's feature. It can this be horrifying?
It is.
It is.
I had
Brittany.
nightmares.
She had nightmares. Go listen to our Shooting the Shit episode, which is brand new, to hear about that whole nightmare
On our Patreon.
on our Patreon.
Yes.
But of course it can be. And I mean, today's feature okay, I'm gonna list off some stuff. Today's feature includes exhibitionism, voyeurism, sodomy, masturbation, gluttony, vomiting, rape, incest, murder, cannibalism, castration, foot fetishism, and concludes to the accompaniment of How Much Is That Doggy in the Window? With the Immortal Divine's infamous snack of dog feces, or chorophagia, a real thing, John Waters assures us. So yes, you
Ew.
could totally, depending on who you are, count this as a horror movie. Plus, if you lived at the time of grindhouse theaters and midnight movies, this was a mainstay for the midnight screens. In fact, just like we talked about on our episode of Rocky Horror Picture Show, this too had audience participation, only in the form of vomit bags and people reciting lines, and fake dog dew in some cases, made out of a chocolate, and the theaters would dare people to eat it while watching Divine's infamous scene.
So they couldn't afford chocolate for this movie, though.
Well,
They couldn't like make fake dog dew.
what I love about this is John Waters really has no defense. Like, even in his commentary, he's like, "What do you want me to say? You want me to make up excuses? We just wanted to push the level. We wanted to do the next best thing, and we figured eating shit was that." I mean, how do you top this
Wow.
movie? But anyway,
There's so many better movies. I would rather.
and you know, I expected you to feel this way going into it, and that's fine. You know, I think you either love or hate this movie. You know, I obviously love it. You seem to hate it. But I'm hoping today's episode really helps people that hate the movie maybe get a more deeper respect for it. You know what I mean?
No,
Well,
I
we
don't
will
know
see.
if that's going to happen.
We will see. And maybe a few of you guys who love this movie, maybe you'll learn a few things today. But
We're gonna learn you a thing or two.
So we have a shit ton to talk about, pun intended. So let's dive into our first stop in a journey into bad taste with 1972's Pink Flamingos.
So picture this.
You know,
Picture this. You're in a pink trailer,
okay.
and I burn that motherfucker down, and you don't die. So then I cut your body into pieces.
Oh God.
And then I eat them.
Oh Jesus. Cannibalism.
Extra crispy.
See, you say you didn't get into today's feature, but I don't know. That was a very John Waters death right there.
Yeah. Yeah, it's implanted in my brain now, and I lost brain cells.
But you know, important.
No, I don't know.
Important,
Shut the fuck up.
But important question. What deprived mind could come up with such a counterculture collection of obscene images? A madman, correct?
I guess so.
Well, not really. John Waters grew up in Lutherville, Maryland, to a pretty normal suburban family. His mother was a faithful Catholic, and his father wasn't much into religion, but, you know, he was a man of himself. And normal, though, isn't something you'd ever label John Waters.
No.
Even while visiting a gay bar in his youth, he commented on the drab and boring aesthetics gay men wore at the time, you know, like sweaters and mustaches. To which he said to himself, "I may be queer, but this ain't it." He had to go find his people. Now, we will dive into John Waters himself with every episode this month, so you'll get a little bit about John Waters' story and who he is, if you're not familiar with the man. Very gay. Very gay man.
Very.
I love John Waters. Like, I am obsessed with him. I think a lot of people like me who are fans of this movie and stuff, you don't just like John Waters. You become obsessed with his career. You absorb every fucking interview, every book he puts out. You read it. Everything the man does, we all consume.
I consumed it unwillingly. My consent
And you know,
was not given.
I share a favorite movie with John Waters, which my favorite horror Christmas movie is Christmas Evil, and he shows that at his Christmas parties every year.
That's awesome.
He loves that movie. In fact, the DVD, which I'm trying to track down, I tracked it down, but I have no money right now. But the DVD has a commentary on it where he does the commentary to Christmas Evil, so I'm excited about finding that. But anyway,
Picture this. Small pink trailer in the middle of nowhere, and Pink Flamingos outside of in the front, of course.
Yes, yeah, of course. And Pink Flamingos, I mean, you might be wondering why it's titled that and stuff like that. Not just because the pink flamingos are right there, but pink flamingos represent tackiness and trash. You know what I mean?
And that's why you bought me a pink flamingo?
Yes,
For my
that's
car?
why in the studio we have a pink flamingo. I think I'm going to name him Gary.
That sounds like a good name.
Gary the pink flamingo. We got Gary the pink flamingo. We got Ivan the fucking skeleton, and then we got Willie the horror dong. He's somewhere around. Oh, look, he's up there. He's up there looking down upon the studio. Willie
With
the
our-
horror dog.
He's with the Nutcrackers.
He is with the Nutcrackers. That's amazing.
The
I didn't
horror
even plan that.
Or the Halloween Nutcrackers.
He's with the Nutcrackers. No, be careful up there, buddy. But anyway. Anyway, so something you'll notice up front is everyone is listed in these credits. John put every single person, be it extra or actor, in these credits. And there is no tail credits because they're all right here. I know you were kind of like looking like, is the movie going to begin anytime soon?
It's like 5 minutes.
It is. It's a very long credit scene. But I think that's also, John's style is kind of more like classic Hollywood meets Nightmare. But, and I'll talk about John's style as we go through this episode. But really what he's doing here is like a classic Hollywood type move. You know, if you go back and look at all those silver screen era Hollywood pictures and stuff, they all put the credits right up front.
Yeah, I think we talked about this in our Frankenstein episode.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, I remembered something.
You remembered something. and yeah, in that movie, like all the credits are right there. There's no tail credits. They're just at the end and then it goes black.
Right.
Which kind of cool. Like I love reading credits, so put them all up front for me. I wish every movie would do that. Could you imagine though, some of these credit sequences in these new movies, like the Marvel movies, are like 25 minutes long because of all the people that worked on them. So could you imagine waiting like 25 minutes for the movie to start?
I'd be so mad. I'd be so mad. Did we stay when we watched Batman versus Superman, did we stay for all the credits?
Yes, you were
I
asleep.
don't know. I was asleep.
I woke you up when the credits were.
You were like, yes, you're still asleep.
Oh, yeah, because I love it. I love watching credits. Like, that's one of the reasons, the only reason I would ever go see a movie by myself is to watch the end credits. I don't know. It's a social thing going to the movies to me. I don't really care to go by myself very often.
You don't like to go by yourself?
No, I really don't. I like to have somebody there. You know what I mean? You got to talk about the movie afterwards.
No.
And I did. I mean, even though you slept through it, you got to hear me rattle on about the movie.
I still don't know what happened.
That's okay. But Alan Rose and Randy Berman did the credit sequence here, and Alan would actually go on to do John Waters' credit sequences up to Serial Mom, I believe, which will be an episode this month. Now, also, you'll notice this movie is also dedicated to Sadie, Katie, and Les. That's the Manson girls.
Oh.
The ones that killed Sharon Tate.
Nice.
In fact, John Waters was obsessed with the Manson murders and would attend trials at the time to watch. He's a big true crime fan. He even developed a close relationship with Leslie Van Houten, like one of the Manson girls. Now, they got this trailer here that you see with the pink flamingos out front for $100 and rolled it onto a farm field. And that was the set. In fact, the whole budget for the art department was about $200, $100 for the trailer and the other half for decorating it. And of course, after running out of funds, they just kind of stole things.
Oh, wow.
In fact, during filming, Devine was arrested for stealing. And in his defense, he said he was a method actor playing a criminal, and that's how he got out of it. I got too method.
That's funny. I don't think you should refer to Divine as a he when he is playing a woman.
Well, it's a little complicated because Divine Glenn.
Yeah.
Divine was his character. I refer to him as a him because he never identified as a woman.
Even when he was in character?
When he was in character, he was Divine. But here's my problem with that. Is I've seen I don't know how to handle that situation. I don't know whether to call Divine a her or not, because apparently like drag queens are offending the trans community. So that's a whole thing.
Oh, shit.
So I don't know. I have no idea. So I'll probably refer to Divine as a him. Okay. For now.
Or they.
And plus he's dead. I mean, he passed. What are you going to do? He wasn't trans. He never identified as a woman. He was a drag queen. He was a gay man dressed as a woman. Divine was his character.
Oh, okay. Mm-hmm. I call him a her through the whole movie.
Well, that's okay because the character in the movie is her.
Right.
Yeah.
Anyway, so Mr. Jag from Dreamland Studios is announcing and telling us about the home and how it's a hideout for Divine, and she's the filthiest person alive. Yes. She has been forced to go underground because of this title and the tabloids. So she goes by the alias Babs Johnson. And in my notes, I write Babs.
Right. And that's fine. Babs Johnson, he actually got from a television show where this guy had a monkey they would dress in drag.
Oh,
and
wow.
So John Waters got the name Babs Johnson from this fucking TV show.
Nice. Stealing things. Cool. So I refer to her as Babs through most of the movie.
Yeah, that's fine.
So then they say who lives with her, which is her friend Cotton, her son Crackers, and her mother, Miss Edie. And then we get to see inside the trailer.
Which is lovely.
Just delightful.
I love it. So John Waters is narrating here in the form of Mr. Ray, who was a big... okay.
Wait, is it Mr. Ray or
No,
Mr.
you're right. It's
Okay.
Mr. J in the movie. Yeah, but this was his take on Mr. Ray, who was a big radio DJ back in the day in Baltimore. So, okay, let's go ahead and get into Divine. I love Divine. Divine's my favorite drag queen. Now, Divine is the stage name of Harris Glenn Milstead. He went by Glenn because his dad was named, he's named after his dad, so he preferred to use the middle name. So it was around mid-1960s when Glenn embraced Baltimore's counterculture scene and found his close friend John Waters. Now, Waters was the one to give him the stage name. In fact, it was pretty simple how it happened, too, because these guys were an acting troupe, the Dreamlanders, and he just labeled him Divine one day. He said, "You look divine," and labeled him the most beautiful woman in the world on their cast member sheets. Now, when Glenn joined the Dreamlanders, acting troupe included Mink Stoll, George Figgs, Bob Adams, Susan Lowe, Paul Swift, David Lockery, among others. Now, Divine had been with Waters for a while now before Pink Flamingos. In fact, he was in the early experimental short films such as Roman Candles, Eat Your Makeup, the Diane Linklater story, 1966, 1968, 1969. Then, of course, John's early full-length features such as Mondo Trash Show, Multiple Maniacs, and of course today's feature, which really catapulted Divine's fame within the American counterculture little society thing. In fact, Divine, like Waters, came from a normal household, but he always felt like he never fit in. Constantly beat up at school for being the bigger kid. It also didn't help that he was extremely effeminate.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he was, as he stated once in an interview, he was never like any of the other boys. He wasn't rough or tough, and he loved painting and always loved flowers and things, He developed an eating disorder very early on, and I believe that kind of helped him through, a lot of the pain in his early adolescence. I mean, imagine being in the 60s or 50s and 60s, not knowing you're gay, not knowing what this is that's about you. Divine never had serious vices, like heroin or, in David Lockery's case, PCP and stuff like that.
Oh, damn.
But it was mostly pot, which he smoked from the start of the day to the end of the day. He was a huge pothead, which is fine.
Right.
But of course, this made his eating habits that much worse.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, we all get the fucking munchies to the point where I've had to smoke weed on a full stomach or I'm going to eat the house.
Yes.
So I understand. But, he did date a girl for a while, though, in high school, but that obviously didn't work out. But
no.
But she had nothing but the nicest things to say about him. And, from most accounts, Glenn or Divine was a gentle and wonderful human being who took his acting very seriously. Yes. In fact, his mother noted that he always wanted to get things done the way he wanted and would tune you out if you displeased him.
Oh, damn.
Yeah. Now, it was around age 17 when his parents took him to a psychiatrist, because like I said, he's going through these things. He's having problems. And that's when he first learned about his sexuality.
Wow.
He heard it from a doctor.
Wow. Which is very weird back in that day.
Well, very weird because it was kind of known as a psychiatric disease at the time to be gay.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah, so this was a negative thing.
Right.
But his mom, to her credit, We'll talk about more about Divine's parents in the next episode, polyester. But to her credit, she did tell him, don't listen to what those doctors say. But Glenn even said he at the time, his parents had become wealthy conservative Baptists by the time of his birth in 1945. Glenn even said he was probably a typically spoiled American brat growing up because his parents lavished him with anything he wanted.
Oh,
yeah, even food, which makes it even worse.
Right.
Even reluctantly footing the bill to his taste in expensive clothes and cars. He would even run up these giant bills financing these giant fucking lavish parties where he hosted dressed in drag as his favorite celebrity, Elizabeth Taylor.
Of course.
Of course. So drag, actually, that became a turning point in Glenn's life where he would eventually become Divine from that. When he first entered the world of drag, most drag queens at the time, and yes, drag queens have been around probably since the dawn of time.
Yes.
But most drag queens were, very thin and model-like beauties. They would come out mostly dressed as famous celebrities and stuff like that. But Glenn was a bigger person. He was a larger man.
A plus size.
Yeah, plus size guy. So he kind of had to do with what he had. And that made him think outside of the box when approaching his alter ego and character. He had to be different. And he stepped away from those glamorous tropes, for his performances. For his performances, in fact, Divine described them in his own words as good, dirty fun. And if you find it offensive, honey, don't join in. He would constantly swear and had his signature line of "fuck you very much" at his performances.
Oh, I like that.
Yes. He would even get audience members to participate, to come on stage where he'd fondle their asses and junk and breasts and shit.
Okay.
He became a gay icon, not because he was simply gay, though. I think Divine really connected with people like me and the gay culture and stuff like that because he represented the outsider, even in drag. He was the outsider, the people who just never fit in, the minorities of the minority, and gave courage to those people to be who they were, express themselves, and raise a middle finger to normal society that would have us hide in closets. Divine, Divine died on March 7th, 1988 at the young age of 42 from a massive heart attack, definitely from his problems with food and weight. He carried that eating disorder for years, up until his death.
Right.
They did say it was kind of sad because he wanted to be a serious actor, and Hairspray pushed him into the mainstream. And he even had a regular role lined up with Married with Children, where he'd be a regular character on that show. And to get a job on a sitcom, that's big.
Right.
He would have been much more famous, after that. So definitely gone too soon. John Waters has said that Divine's fans will often visit his grave, leaving clothes, makeup, and food for him. And on more than one occasion, engaging in sexual acts on top of his grave.
Oh, okay.
Something Waters has said Glenn would have loved.
Not necessary, but okay.
I don't know. If y'all want to fuck on my grave after I'm done, I'm cool with it. But
I'm not. Please don't.
Don't fuck on Brittany's grave.
Or yours.
Or mine. Why not? I'm dead. I don't care. But Divine left an influence on a number of musicians. During the mid-1980s, the androgynous performer Sylvester decorated his whole powder room, or their own powder room, I'm sorry, in their San Francisco home with Divine memorabilia.
Wow.
It's like a fucking museum.
Wow.
Anthony and the Johnsons, they wrote a song about Divine, which was in their self-titled debut album released in 1998. The song, I think it was titled Divine. It was actually a tribute to the actor, What's really funny is you've seen some influences from Divine.
Have I?
Yes, you have. In fact, Ursula the Sea Witch from 1989's The Little Mermaid was inspired by Divine.
Oh, wow.
Yes. And in his hometown of Baltimore, there resides a 12-foot statue of his likeness on permanent display at the American Visionary Art Museum.
Oh.
Yeah. Now I honestly just lightly touched here on Divine's career in life. But if you want to learn more, and there are many books and docs dedicated to him, including the fantastic I Am Divine, which I believe is on Netflix. And you guys should go watch that to learn a little bit more.
Did we watch that?
Yes, we did.
Oh,
Yeah.
Okay. So back to the movie.
Back to the movie.
Finally.
I'm sorry, you guys. I had to pay tribute here.
Right.
You know?
So Miss Edie, she's Bab's mom.
Yeah.
And she's in this playpen in the trailer. She's in this playpen, and she is begging for Babs to give her some eggs. And she wants to know where Eggman is because he hasn't shown up yet.
Yes.
And Babs isn't being fast enough, so she calls in Cotton. She then tells Babs that she wants sunny side up eggs. And
which I think, honestly, out of everything in this movie, the eggs bother you.
Oh my
most.
God, it was so gross.
Oh God.
And then there's a part later on where Babs, she spits, and I took a drink as she was spitting, and I almost died.
You probably shouldn't eat or drink during this movie.
No, it's best that you don't.
I will say, Pink Flamingos really does lend itself to the group viewing. You know,
yeah, you're gonna want to watch this with other
watch
people.
it with a group, and you'll have more fun than just watching it alone.
Yes.
You know? So Miss Edie is played by Edith Massey, who she always wanted to be a movie star. She loved the movies, so she went to California to follow her dreams and just became a barmaid.
And ate a bunch of eggs.
Ate a bunch of eggs. She actually particularly didn't care for eggs, but she did. She did this for this movie.
Oh, she eats so many fucking eggs.
It's so gross. Now, it was when she relocated to Baltimore that young John Waters found her. He met Edith at the bar she worked at called Pete's Hotel in 1969 and offered her a role as herself in the film Multiple Maniacs. And from there, she joined the Dreamlanders. Now, she capitalized on her cult figure status, especially in the late 70s and 80s, and even toured with a punk band that she fronted called Edie and the Eggs.
Oh my God. That's funny.
To escape the Baltimore winters, though, she moved out to Venice, California, and opened a thrift store. And it was there where she was featured in John Mellencamp's music video for This Time, and also appears on the album cover, Nothing Matters and What If It Did?
Okay.
That's right.
Nothing Matters and What If It Did? Okay, I'm going to have to check this out.
John Mellencamp, yeah.
I'm going to have to check this out.
I think John Mellencamp's the one who did Jack and Diane, right?
I have
The
no
Clapton
idea.
song.
I have
Little
no
did
idea.
it about Jack and Diane. Yeah, that's John Mellencamp, I'm pretty sure.
We'll have to check that out.
Yeah.
So across town, we're introduced to Connie and Raymond Marble. They're two jealous perverts that hate Divine. This is kind of but I didn't say every time that the narrator told us something.
Yes.
But because the narrator kind of talks.
Which I love the voice he has in this. He's like,
yes.
And now we go over to...
Yes. That's exactly what he sounds like.
Really extreme Baltimore accent is what he's doing here.
And he pronounces things wrong, and it really annoys me, but whatever.
My favorite, though, is when he calls them assholes later on in the narration. Assholes.
Oh, my goodness. So Connie is talking to a woman who is interviewing to help find out information about Divine for them. The woman is pissed because she has done a lot of work to get to this point, and she's basically being fired or whatever. She's not good enough. And she says that she could have taken another job instead of wasting her time. And Connie says that she doesn't know enough and basically calls her stupid. So the woman calls Connie a cunt and walks out.
So Mink Stoll and David Lockery play our villains. Question mark? I don't think we're supposed to be rooting for anyone.
I don't think so.
But, these two actually designed and colored their own hair. David Lockery had blonde ends, and he had blonde ends, and they loved that on him because that was... At the time, that was a wild hairstyle. Well, for this film, they ended up bleaching their hair, or at the time it was called stripping.
Right,
stripping your hair to like a white color.
Yeah,
and he colored his hair because they didn't make dye like this at the time. Hair dye. He colored his hair with a blue marker. and Mink Stole did hers with red ink. You know,
Wow.
they honestly do a good job.
Yes, they
This
do.
looks like a Manic Panic hair dye job.
It does.
It's pretty good. And those big, bright, bold colors in your hair, that was crazy at the time. I know it's not now.
Yeah.
Like these two seem like somebody you'd hang out with. Well, I mean, not, not them particularly, but their looks.
No, not them particularly.
Not them particularly. And I gotta say though, like, I don't feel like these are very filthy people. I think Divine has them beat.
Oh,
Like,
yeah,
they just
I
don't. They just
agree.
seem they're just assholes.
Yes. And they're just in their fucking rich house or whatever.
Yeah.
They're not living in a trailer in the middle of nowhere.
Which that house was actually a rental house that Mink Stole and John Waters shared.
Oh, okay.
Yes, and they didn't have to redecorate this at all. Most of it's shot in Mink Stole's part of the house.
Oh, okay.
But also, they filmed a lot of this in winter, which I don't know.
Yeah.
Especially during the trailer scenes, you can see their breath in a lot of shots. And poor Edith Massey, my God, she was shivering.
Yeah,
she's
she was
basically
just wearing
naked.
She's just wearing bra and underwear.
Yeah, she's just in her undies. And the crew, they would gather around a bonfire between shots, and they barely had food. They lived. A lot of the cast members lived in a farmhouse that was on the land that had no heat or anything. So they were just. It was fucking brutal.
That sounds terrible.
And the shooting policy for this thing was just get it in one go.
Yeah, because they were in a fucking hurry.
Yes.
So Crackers is waiting on Babs because they're going to go into town, and he's playing with his chickens because they love chickens in this movie.
You to the point where you're like, the eggs, the chicken. Is this a commentary on chickens?
Yes. Yes. And he's going to go on a date. Cotton is inside talking about Humpty Dumpty to Miss Edie. See, more fucking eggs.
Yes.
Babs tells Cotton that she can come to town next time, and Cotton talks about how she's excited that Crackers will be bringing home his date, and she can't wait to see how it will work out with the new shed, because he lives in the shed, and they live. The women live in the trailer, and he lives in the shed.
Yeah, he lives out in the shed.
So Babs and Crackers leave, and as they're driving, they're fucking with these hitchhikers and shit, like acting like they're gonna hit them.
Which there are a lot of these little scenes and stuff that we don't go too into, but it's pretty great. Now, Pink Flamingos was shot on a budget of $10,000.
Not a surprise.
I was going to say, you surprised? Most of the money John would raise, between weekends while shooting. They shot this on weekends, and pretty much all of it came from his own father, which he paid back in full. He paid his father's loan back. In fact, the budget was so tight that Waters couldn't afford an A and B print, so the work print is the master. Now, for some of you film buffs, y'all know what I'm talking about there.
Nope. No, they don't. They don't know what you're talking about.
Now, this movie takes a lot of influence from New York underground filmmakers like Andy Warhol, Kenneth Anker, Mike and George Kutcher. Stylistically, this thing is a ballroom drag show mixed with 50s rock and roll eclectic nightmares.
Yes.
Now, the biggest influence was a movie called Fuego, Spanish for fire, and it was a sexploitation film by Armando Bo starring Isabel Sarli. And that film is actually a huge impact for Argentinian cinema. It had one of the first representation of a lesbian relationship in Argentine cinema, Very obscure movie for people who don't know what I'm talking about. But it's honestly a really good movie and represents the oppressed condition of women. In the film, Coca loves sex, but that gets her labeled a whore by male-dominated society, so she becomes a lesbian.
Nice.
At the time, it was revolutionary and almost militant in that aspect. John has said that this was one of his favorite films, and he even said if you watch some of his movies, especially Pink Flamingos, you can see the influence that 1969 film had.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't believe it, but okay. No, I'm just kidding.
Maybe I don't even know where I could find that movie. I've seen it, and I don't know how, but I've seen it. I think it was an early, back in the days of pirating.
Oh, probably.
That was a victimless crime, we all thought. I believe I pirated that movie and watched it.
You're going to jail.
Probably.
So, Connie is buzzing for Channing, their servant boy. So okay, watching this movie, I've never heard of anybody named Channing except for Channing Tatum. Can you imagine what if Channing Tatum's parents named him after this character?
And what a character to name him after.
Do you just like I just imagine like they get done fucking, right?
We're going to name him Channing. After the Pink Flamingos movie? Yes.
Yes.
I can't imagine someone would be that obsessed with this movie, but look at me.
True. And I don't know. What year was Channing Tatum born, though? Hold on.
I don't know.
I don't know either. Hold on.
That man's built like an Adonis, though. When's the last time Channing Tatum was in a movie, though? Was that Blockers?
I don't know, but his birthday is 1980. What year did this come out?
1972. Could be.
Probably not.
Well, it got more popular in 1980. But anyway.
This isn't about Channing Tatum.
No.
So Channing goes in and he lets in a lesbian couple that is waiting for a baby from them. He then goes down to the basement and gets a baby that was just born by a pregnant woman, obviously.
Who's
born,
dead.
And she is dead. And there's another pregnant woman down there. She's just yelling at him the whole time.
Yeah.
She wants him to get the dead mother out of there. She wants her tranquilizer. She wants the fuck out of there.
Yeah. How is this funny? Why am I laughing? That's the magic of John Waters, because this whole scene is just over the top and ridiculous to the point where you're giggling. But they're running a sex slavery. They're running a baby farm.
Yes.
Kidnapping women and impregnating them.
And selling the babies to lesbian couples.
But I'm laughing. I don't know why.
This woman yelling is just hilarious because she's just like in Channing's face and he's like, I don't give a fuck. So he takes the baby upstairs and gives it to the lesbians.
Now the baby, which Noodles is what.
Why is the baby named Noodles?
I don't fucking know. In this, he was played by Cookie Muller's son, Maxwell Muller, and we will meet Cookie in a bit, so I'll go into her.
Oh, so this was her baby.
Yes. So the big question is, what's the point to all this?
Yeah, I was asking that like 6 minutes into it.
I'm sure a lot of our listeners are the same way. I actually read a comment where this guy was like, I just don't like these movies. And I was like, well, I think Brittany's,
agree with you.
I was going to say, I think Brittany's on that train. So listen in. Maybe you'll agree with her. That's why it's perfect that Brittany's here because nobody wants to hear me go on about this.
And yet you still are.
Yeah. I mean, we understand the plot to this
Do
thing.
we?
Yeah. I mean, it's two feuding people trying to be the filthiest people alive.
Okay.
It's not hard. But why? Well, this is why I feel like this is an incredible movie. And honestly, a huge turning point for not only cinema, but society and LGBTQ community. What?
I think you're a psychopath.
Very much so. I'm a pervert. I'm a perverted psychopath.
Well, I did know that.
But Waters' humor comes from provoking and exploiting the fears people who put their faith in the establishment have.
The establishment.
Yes. I
don't know why that's so funny to me.
It is really funny. I said in a few promos for this episode that depending on who you are, this is a horror movie. Your Aunt Karen, who talks about the gays and the whores taking over the world with their sexual escapades and hedonism, would have constant nightmares after seeing Pink Flamingos. The biggest reason I love his work, though, is that it reminds us all that it's great to be weird. American society is so rigid, repressive, and boring that being weird and pushing that envelope feels kind of good. It's cathartic. It's why I started wearing nail polish, and I'm thinking maybe makeup too, because my God, it's liberating to piss off all these conservative politician worshipers in Oklahoma.
That's true.
Oh, and American audiences hadn't experienced anything like Pink Flamingos. There were movies like this at the time, but none of them really made their way to mainstream and international fame like this film. Or at least to those of us in on the joke. Hairspray would be the Trojan horse that would boost John Waters into the real mainstream. That whole film is about ending segregation and interracial relationships, among other themes. For the LGBTQ queer community, Waters created a whole new cinematic language. You know, he uses camp and kitsch to celebrate queer identities and rail against the cinematic conventions that mostly displayed gays as a joke. You know, for the first time, gays weren't the punchline in his movies. It's honestly an early form of gay agitprop, which, agitprop, it's a Russian term, which basically means propaganda.
Okay.
So it instills ideas of gay culture at the time into your brain while you marvel at the excess. Gay film theorists had even said that this is maybe one of the most important LGBTQ plus community films of all time.
What the fuck?
Also, some have said it was an important precursor to the punk culture, which rebelled against the normalcy of society. You know, punk has always been about saying fuck you to what is popular and doing the extreme opposite.
This is extreme.
Yes, it was about let's do something hideous and commit a comedy crime. Some people thought this was a documentary. The way it's filmed and stuff.
Yeah.
They thought this was a documentary. And they even thought some of these people were living out in the woods.
They might be. I have no idea. Are these the feral people that they're talking about in the Appalachians? The Appalachian Mountains?
Appalachia.
Yeah, they don't like it when you say
Mountains.
that. They don't like it when you say that.
They don't like it when I say Appalachia?
No, that's not how they say it.
Oh. Well, how do they say it?
Appalachian?
No, that's how normal people say it.
No. Not from TikTok. That's not what they say.
Oh, goddamn TikTok.
The people that actually
TikTok is ruining this goddamn world. Let's move on.
Whatever, you love it.
I do. It's stupid. I love anything stupid like that.
So Babs and Crackers are in town, and she drops him off for his date. Babs goes into a convenience store kind of thing and gets a cut of meat from the butcher and ends up shoving it up her dress and walking out. But as she is doing that, there's this dude behind her with hot dogs, and he's like rubbing this package and like
just out of nowhere,
her.
This guy comes out with hot dogs and is like,
Yeah, it's very weird.
Yeah.
So Babs goes walking through town, and everyone's looking at her all crazy. And then she just pees randomly in front of somebody's house.
And she and he actually did this. Like, this was just some random mansion. They just went and he pissed right in front of them.
Oh my!
And they just ran off, you know. Now this scene where Divine is walking down the street, though, to "Girl Can't Help It" by Little Richard, which John Waters is a huge Little Richard fan. I love this shot because those were real people and real reactions to Divine. Imagine 1970, just Divine walking down the street. That makeup and hair has become so iconic.
Oh, yeah.
To get that outrageous eye makeup just right, they shaved Lynn's hairline back, giving more room for the style, you know.
I mean, he has 17 heads, so.
Oh, what's really funny is in the makeup as Divine, he got looks, you know, and out of the makeup, he got looks because he had a shaved eyebrows and this half bald head combined with these one-piece white suits he would wear at the time. The dresses were, I think they were bought at a place called Shaka's in Baltimore, where they got these dresses. And my God, does Divine look good in a dress?
Not bad. Not bad at all.
Yeah.
So Connie is reading a paper, and she is pissed that Divine is the filthiest person alive. She is mad that Raymond isn't home. And she's like talking to him like,
yes, it's great.
She's like,
Where
come
are
home,
you, Raymond.
You don't want to know where he's at.
No.
Oh, but I'm going to tell you. He's in town, and he's exposing himself to girls in a park, and he's got a piece of meat strapped to his dick.
Yeah. Not only did he expose himself, he has sausage tied to his dick.
Which is a little weird.
Which kudos on stripping your pubes and dyeing them blue, man.
I guess.
I don't know how one would do that.
People do it.
Do they?
Yes.
That's interesting.
Yes. So then he steals one of the girl's purses when she runs off, and he goes home.
And yeah, you do get a lot of full frontal in this movie. I mean,
a lot. And a lot of backdoor too.
And I guess John figured, you know, even he said he doesn't really quite know what the fucking the sausage means, but he figured flashing wasn't over the top enough, so he threw some meat on the meat, you know? Now,
Threw some meat
yeah.
on the meat. It doesn't make it bigger, okay?
I think I like it. It makes it funnier that maybe that's why Raymond is doing it, to make his junk appear bigger. You know,
You can see it dangling.
it's so funny. It's such a it's not funny that we're describing it, but it's funny in the movie. Now the shot of Raymond when we first see him, you know, when he raises up behind that wall, and he's got those fucking binoculars, even though the women are right there.
Right.
He's right in front of an unemployment bureau.
Oh, Jesus.
Now, of course, they couldn't afford filming permits. I mean, so this is guerrilla filmmaking to the extreme, you know.
Oh, shit. You got to go in and flash and leave.
Yep, flash and leave, shoot, go.
So a woman named Cookie is in a cab, and she runs away when she gets out so she doesn't have to pay for the fare.
Yeah, and Waters has said that when they were younger and stuff, and during this filming, that's how they would get around. You know, they'd take a cab and run.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. Now, they did that daily, you know. Now, John tried to do this when he got older with one of his friends years later, just for the nostalgia. I mean, they had money. They just were like, let's do it.
Oh,
and
my
stuff.
gosh.
And but he said the cabbie had a gun and almost killed them, and they barely got away.
Oh, shit. Ooh, have you ever taken a cab, like a cash? Like
I have. The one we took was in Florida, and it was very scary. I thought, like, he didn't start the fare or anything.
What?
Yeah, he didn't start the fare, so I didn't know what the fuck was going on. So I was like,
That's weird.
oh God. He was like $20. Oh, okay.
Okay.
I'd like to get out now.
Right. The fare was probably like $1.
Yeah, probably.
He's like $20.
$20 out of
Okay.
town.
I've taken a cab once from a man's house.
Oh Lord.
And it was at like 5:00 in the fucking morning.
Oh,
So
God.
basically he was like, get the fuck out,
So
which
you
is
took
fine.
a drive of shame, is what you
Yes, a drive of shame. And he gave the guy $100 bill.
What the fuck?
And I was like, could you have at least given me some of that?
Yeah,
Would
give
that
him
have made-
50 and give me 50. Like,
Right?
I mean, I did my duty.
Would that have made me a sex worker?
I don't know. I think at this point of days, it doesn't fucking matter.
Well, my $50.
Get yours.
Right? No, he gave the dude $100.
That sucks.
And the dude dropped me off. It was very strange, though.
It is strange.
Anyway. Oh, so this Cookie person, she goes to talk to Connie and Raymond about getting information about Divine. She says she has a date with her son Crackers today.
I'm fucking Crackers. I love that.
Just
name.
Crackers.
Just Crackers.
She says she's going to have to put with unknown monstrosities to get info.
Yeah, she's like, he's into the weirdest sex scenes.
He is.
Yeah.
So, and she's like, but I need to know why and what you guys need. And so they say that they need to surpass Divine, or that they do surpass Divine as the filthiest people alive. And they talk about how they run the baby ring and they front money to heroin dealers at an elementary school.
And I love how they deliver these lines with like just it's just casual.
Just everyday stuff.
Nonchalant, you know.
And they say that Divine is a common thief and murderer, and they want to make Divine's life as miserable as possible.
And still, even with this heroin dealers at elementary school and the baby ring, I don't know. They're just not coming close.
I think
to
that
Divine's filthiness.
I think they are actually the common thieves and murderers.
I think so. Yeah. And if you look behind them during this scene, you'll see a picture of Susan Atkins, one of the Manson girls. I've mentioned the Manson girls a bunch, and I'll probably mention Manson as we go on throughout this. Early during Divine's walk, one of the crew had even spray painted Free Tex Watson on the wall. That Free Tex Watson, a crew member had done that the night before. People were fucking furious about that because Tex Watson, you know, the Manson murders were still fresh in people's minds. You know, this was 1972, 1968 or 69 is when they went to trial, you know.
Oh, wow.
So this is still fresh. Now, also, is it terrible to say the Manson girls were kind of hot?
Nah.
I was looking at pictures the other day and I was like, man, if they weren't fucking crazy murderers, yeah, maybe, you know.
You're terrible.
I am an awful human being. Anyway, you'll also see these pictures taped to the wall. Now, those were stills from the 1966 movie Night Games, directed by Mai Zetterling, I think is his name. Very obscure stuff. And that's all through this flick. You'll see references to underground and obscure cinema that I can't really take the time to point out.
There's a lot of it,
There
actually.
is a lot of, in a lot of the posters and stuff you see on the walls are movies they liked and stuff like that. There's like a Warhol painting on one wall at one point. But I can highlight a few, as I just did. If you see the little statue on the table there, that's the Infant of Prague, which is in another one of Waters' films. He appears to divine. That was a really popular saint in Baltimore, and Waters just kind of liked the politics of it. The more you worship me, the more I bless you, which is kind of like a fair thing. He just appreciated that a little bit.
Okay.
John Waters is not a religious person. In fact, he makes fun of religion. He's like the classic satirists and stuff. He pokes fun at everyone, even the gay community.
Yeah.
He even, which is something I think we talked about this in our Shooting the Shit episode, but it's something we've all fucking lost is our sense of humor and self-depreciating.
Oh my fucking
humor.
God, right?
We cannot make fun of ourselves anymore, and I find it very sad.
Oh my God. TikTok.
Yeah. People just take themselves way too seriously, and
yeah.
it's made for a very boring, dull world. And I thought that's what we were trying to escape.
Right. Right.
Anyway.
Never mind.
Yeah.
So back at the trailer, Crackers and Cookies show up.
Back at the trailer.
Crackers and Cookies show up and see Edie sleeping. And she has eggs all over her.
Yeah.
And Cookies asking all kinds of questions. So Crackers goes to talk to Cotton, and he said that he has something good planned, that he has some nice, juicy, plump chickens.
And Brittany's face during this, when she's like, what the fuck is about to happen?
Yeah. Because Cotton begs for more from him and wants blood in this one.
Yeah.
So we know that she's going to watch them have sex.
Yes.
And she's going to get off from it.
Which is really weird because they won't touch each other.
Yeah, because he touches her and she was like, promise me you won't touch me. Promise me.
It's such a weird thing because they'll do this. But that's not his sister or anything.
No.
So I think maybe it would be too normal for them to fuck. So
yeah.
And I think Divine and his blowjob scene later explains, they're filthy in every way, I guess. I'll talk about that blowjob scene later.
Me too. So Edie wakes up and tells Cookie about Babs's birthday party that they're going to have. And then Crackers comes and tells Cookie he is going to show her his chickens.
You okay?
Yeah, I did not describe this. This is one sentence, and this is
what's really funny?
all I really... No, it's not.
Back in the day, you probably would have went into this a little too much.
Yeah.
On
and I
this
was
show.
like, not doing it this
you don't
time.
have to. It's fine.
There's a 5-minute sex scene with a chicken.
Yeah,
and
Cotton's
Cookie.
watching through the fucking window.
So I'll just describe this. Okay, so you got Cookie laying on the bed, and then you got these 2 chickens, and then you have Crackers on top of them.
Yeah. Hold these goddamn chickens.
And they're fucking scratching her and shit.
Yeah.
These are real chickens.
Yes. So, of course, John Waters acknowledges today he would never film something like this.
Thank God.
Which is an actual chicken death. But they got this, they got this chicken from a place that said fresh killed chickens, so it was going to die anyway. And after they shot this, they ate it. So I don't know. I suppose if you're sensitive to that kind of stuff, it's pretty bad, but it's not like they killed a dog or anything. I mean, stuff happens with a dog, but I'll explain that.
Not sexual things.
The dog was treated like a king. I'll explain later. But now John's defense for this is that the chicken would have been killed either way. But hey, it got to be in a movie. It got fucked. And we're all talking about that chicken today.
Not
John's sense of
necessary.
humor is fucking amazing. He also says,
I don't think that's the way I would describe it. I don't think those are the words I would use.
He also says he doesn't know what to say, honestly. He has no defense about this. And he was like, should I make excuses? Because I knew what I was doing. He's like, so, I got nothing. Here it is. Which is the most honest answer to why did you film a chicken death ever, I think. Because I'm sure any other filmmaker would sit there, well, the artistic meaning behind it was to show the true humanity. But John Waters is just like, I don't know. I thought it was kind of funny at the time. It's like, all right.
I don't think it was. To me, it was not.
I don't understand why this is funny to me. Like, I'm still to this day trying to figure it out. Now, I can talk to other fans of this movie that are like me, and they find it funny too. And we all just don't know why. It's just
psychopaths, all of you.
Probably. Now, Cookie Muller played, Cookie in this film and in the scene. And yes, she actually did get scratched there on accident.
Well, yes, there's fucking chickens.
Well, that blood there isn't her blood. That's actually the chicken's blood. But she did get scratched.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which, John Waters didn't want that. It's not like he ordered her to get scratched. It was just an accident.
What did you expect? You've got a chicken. You've got two chickens between.
Hold these damn chickens.
Between two people. What the fuck did you expect?
I got issues. Now, Cookie Muller, she was a Dreamlander, and as well as starring in the film Multiple Maniacs, Female Trouble, and Desperate Living. She was also a writer as well. She wrote these columns, health columns and stuff like that. Now, Waters credits her for the title of his film, Female Trouble. Cookie was hospitalized at one point for pelvic inflammatory disease, and Waters and Mink Stoll visited her in the hospital. And, Mink Stoll was like, what the hell happened? And she said, oh, it's just a little female trouble, hon. Sadly, Cookie passed from AIDS-related pneumonia in 1989 at the age of 40. A lot of the Dreamlanders aren't with us anymore, if you notice. Nan Golden actually put together a widely exhibited series of portraits known as the Cookie Portfolio from 1976 to 1989. One of them depicted a wedding photo with her and her husband, Vittorio Scarpati, an Italian artist and jeweler who actually passed from AIDS 7 weeks before Muller. So,
I didn't know what to say there.
It's sad. AIDS took a lot of people from us.
Yeah.
I don't think people really realize the huge hold the AIDS epidemic left in this fucking world.
Oh yeah.
People lost like friends, relatives, and you imagine the gay community. You'll hear this time and time again with most of the queers and gays and lesbians and whatever. You'll hear this saying, like they had to make a family.
Oh yeah.
Because most of their families disown them. I mean, I've talked to so many gay guys have told me, my parents won't talk to me anymore and stuff like that. It's such a common thing. It's fucking heartbreaking.
It's so sad.
So they make their own family with their community and stuff. And when the AIDS epidemic hit, you're basically losing family members left and right. So you imagine the terror that fucking caused. We went really into that, I believe, in our Nightmare on Elm Street Part 2 episodes. I believe we talked about that a lot, but anyway, so yeah, it is sad. There's not much to say about it.
Right. So back at the trailer, the Eggman shows up and Cotton invites him into the birthday party that as Edie's date.
Yes.
He agrees and then shows them all the eggs that he has.
In Waters, you may be wondering, what the fuck? There's so much egg talk in this fucking movie.
So many fucking chickens.
Well, what's funny about it is Waters' approach to anything that's an obsession is that it can be fun. Because it kind of is. Any obsession anybody has, if you look at it the right way, it's fucking hilarious.
Oh, yeah.
My obsession with horror movies is funny as fuck. We made a whole show about it. And actually, he said he does remember an Eggman when he was a child delivering eggs every day, door to door. Like just delivering cartons of eggs.
Oh, wow.
And he said at the time he probably thought it was weird, so that's why it's in this movie. Paul Swift plays the Eggman here, and John said he was a beatnik gay guy who was just really fucking funny. And so he hung around them all the time. And they said Paul was one of the guys who at a party, he would get nude for no reason.
Okay.
There's always that one gay guy who's just fucking butt ass naked, just dancing around. It's like, yeah.
I mean,
go for it.
It's hot in here, so
yeah, exactly.
Why
Get
not?
nude.
Speaking of nudity,
oh God,
I didn't tell you when I got home. You can cut this, but I want to tell you. So I'm driving home from work, and you know how the house, there's houses and then there's apartments right there, and there's a lot of criminal activity in those apartments. There was a lady, she's just walking with no fucking shirt, and as I'm coming up on her, I'm like, oh, she's probably got a skin colored shirt on. I just can't. No,
No, that lady's just
no
said,
shirt.
fuck it that day.
No
She's
fucking
like, fuck
shirt.
this, I'm not putting a shirt on.
She had a backpack on.
Hey, well, you know, you got to carry your shirt in something, I suppose.
No fucking. I was like, tits out and everything.
Nice. You know, fucking go for it.
And it was it was raining.
Liberating, you know?
It was raining.
She was taking a liberation walk.
I guess so. It is legal
It is legal now, you know?
in
Oh,
Tulsa.
man. And I work with a bunch of conservatives. You should have heard them talking about that. There's going to be tits everywhere. And I was like, why are you so scared about tits? Like,
Who
you
doesn't
guys
wanna see
literally
tits?
ogle tits every day here.
Right.
And now you're scared that they're going to be out? I'm confused.
Right.
Like,
Oh, well, they have to be conservative tits.
I guess. Everybody likes tits, though. Even gay
Right.
guys that I'm friends with love tits.
Oh,
Like,
yeah.
everybody loves boobies.
So, like, what the fuck? I don't know. It was just shocking,
Yeah.
but I wasn't mad about it.
No, you just
I
wanted
wasn't
like you
like-
pulled over. You fucking whore.
Right. I was like, oh, I got a free show.
Hey.
Sorry.
No,
I
you're
had to
all
tell
right.
you
You're
that
all right.
story.
That shit's funny.
Connie and Raymond are in a car and they pick up a hitchhiker. They start picking on her and calling her a hussy and saying she's going to spread her VD around. So she tries to get out, and they chloroform her.
Yeah.
You know, Casey Anthony style.
Oh,
Sorry.
outrageous. So that's our episode this week. Outrageous. We're going to get canceled, motherfuckers.
Casey Anthony did it, okay?
Oh, fuck yeah. Everybody agrees with that.
Yes. Yes.
Anyway.
So Channing takes her down to the basement when they get home, and the woman down there is yelling at him
She calls
again.
him a fucking little dingleberry.
Yes.
And I was like, I want to call someone a fucking little dingleberry. That's my
Do
next
it.
insult. I'm going to do it if somebody pisses me
I
off.
remember growing up, and we called people dingleberries all the time.
That was a common thing. Like,
Oh, yeah.
what happened to the term dingleberry? It's so innocent, but yet insulting.
I don't know.
Like, I feel like we should all use dingleberry as an insult a lot more.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think we should
Get
put
back
that.
to the days of dingleberries.
So now it's his time to do his duty. Because he's the one that gets these women pregnant.
Yes, yes. Which talk about uncomfortable, but yet funny at the same time. Again, I don't know. Again, hey, this is me. This is
Yeah.
me and the fans here speaking. But I don't know. I don't know why I'm laughing. I don't know what's going on.
Well, instead of raping her, he jerks off. Well, I mean, it is kind of rape, but
Yeah.
he jerks off, takes his sperm, puts it in a syringe, and puts it inside of the woman. And the other woman's yelling at him the whole time and puking.
I think it's so over the top. That's why it's
so
funny.
over to the top.
Because it is all in your face and stuff. You even see him put the syringe in a vagina. Like, it's
Yeah.
all over the top. I don't know if that's real semen or fake semen. I'm not putting it past John Waters to use real semen. Now, the poor unfortunate victim to Connie and Raymond is Linda Olgerson. And no, that's not her vagina in the close-ups. That was a stand-in who
okay.
agreed to do that, you know. Herschel Gordon Lewis, strangely enough, for you horror fans and stuff, he actually took influence from Multiple Maniacs, you know, and this movie as well. Waters has said this is probably the rudest and grossest scene to him in the movie, you know.
Okay.
He's not actually jerking off in the scene, as you can tell. He's miming it, but it's pretty fucking disturbing. But again, why am I laughing?
You know what makes me mad
What? Yeah.
about this whole movie? And I know this is the
What's
weirdest
that? What's
thing.
that?
Okay, so Connie and Raymond keep talking about how big Chan's dick is, but not one time do we see it.
No, and they cut it out. I think that's the joke.
But I
Like,
want to see it.
I want to see
If
the
it's
big
that
dick.
big,
I
I
mean,
wanna
we
see
got
it.
to see Raymond's tiny dick with
I don't
the
need to
sausage.
see his blue dick.
And blue dick. That sounds like a disease. but again, you know, this movie, what's also another thing is it's also anti-hippie. You know, the Manson murders, like I said, were still fresh in the public's mind. And those were the embodiment. Honestly, the Manson family was the embodiment of every parent's fear of hippies come true.
Oh,
You know,
yeah.
The Manson family was probably the truest, filthiest family alive at the time. So in a way, John Waters was also making fun and poking at the hippie movement here. And what's really funny is a lot of hippies actually enjoyed this movie. Again, self-depreciating humor. It's fun.
Nice.
Most of what John Waters' audience and fans like me share in common is a hatred for authority, a good sense of humor, and a sense of humor about ourselves, and using humor as a weapon. You know, in fact, I feel like Pink Flamingos was made today, people would freak out more than they did back then.
Oh, yeah.
You know, like I said, I don't know. We just all have lost our sense of humor. It's kind of weird. I mean, John Waters would write these speeches back in the day for Divine when they did performances where she would say the awfulest things like, I ate white sugar all day and I hate fruit and I followed 2 hippies home and killed their pets. Just get a reaction. And even the PETA members in the audience would laugh their heads off at the time because it was all a joke. It was all in good fun. And they knew that. And
right.
they were laughing at themselves. Like I said, insult comics on our we talked about comedy in our Shooting the Shit episode, and insult comics can't exist anymore.
No.
You know, and that it's kind of weird. Like, learn to laugh at yourself, man. It's liberating.
Take a fucking joke.
Yeah.
It's not a dick. It's not that.
Yeah, and the Dreamlanders were joking about murder and making violence into comedy, and you know, this was all just punk and hippie drag, is what this movie is.
Yeah.
Yeah. As far as the syringe of cum thing, I literally, and I told you, I was like, I had a repressed memory. I knew a guy once, and I don't know if I'm allowed to say the company that I worked for. I don't think I'm allowed to say that. But I knew a guy once who it sounded like he had a fetish for this. And I don't know if he was actually doing this or was just fantasizing and trying to freak me out. But he told me he had a thing about coming into a syringe and having other guys inject it into their wives.
Was he trying to get a bunch of people pregnant or something?
I don't know, but I was fucking mortified and quit the job the next day.
Yeah.
It was fucking freaked me out. He was my cubicle neighbor, and I was like, oh, God.
Ugh. That sounds...
That's too over the top for me.
But not this move.
No, again, I don't... It's the magic of John Waters.
No, I think...
because even you, I mean, you're watching this, and yeah, even if you're not enjoying it, you're not incredibly offended.
No, I'm not offended, but I think it's so uncomfortable that you have to laugh.
And that's the thing, I think. And it's unlike movies like I Spit on Your Grave, you know, which has a rape scene that makes you feel very uncomfortable. Makes you think about the problems with rape and how it's ignored by our society and stuff. It's a very serious turn in a movie.
Right.
But in this, I mean, we're running baby rings. We're raping people. We're fucking injecting semen. But it's not, I don't know.
I think it's the uncomfortableness of it all.
It is. It makes you giggle. You know, that was a lot of these grindhouse and midnight movies and stuff at those theaters and stuff. That's what it was. And that's why I said, you know, watch this with a group.
Oh, yeah.
It's a hilarious experience. You'll have a great time.
So Connie and Raymond are sucking each other's toes. When the phone rings, Raymond answers it, and it's Cookie. She says she wants her money before she gives them information. And she says that they don't know what she had to go through to get this information. But she ends up giving them some information anyway. Yeah. She tells them about everyone that lives there and the birthday party, and they are all excited that they have an address now, and they have a gift to send to Divine. And they go back to sucking each other's toes and declaring their love for each other. I did not go into detail about this.
It is a long scene of them sucking each other's feet.
A long scene.
By the way, did you notice that they put on their underpants they're wearing are switched? He's wearing panties and she's wearing men's briefs.
Oh, okay.
When they put them on. Waters is always fucking with gender stereotypes in his films. But this sexual act involving feet is called shrimping. And it's ridiculous looking. But what's really funny when you think about it, some sexual acts, unless you're into them and doing them at the moment, they're fucking hilarious looking. Like, you know, like some of these fucking moves people are doing where their feet are up next to somebody's head while they're pounding them from the back. It's fucking funny. Like if you watch a porn with some crazy sex moves and stuff and you just don't look at it as a horny person and just somebody view it, it's fucking funny. Like, and that may be what's separating me from you because I can laugh at these things. No. Brittany's
I'm
look.
just not
Brittany's look right now.
not licking anybody's toes.
Oh, well, I didn't ask you to, but now I'll lick yours. Anyway,
I know.
Anyway, now David Lockery, who plays Raymond here, was actually Divine's former best friend, and before Divine met David, Divine had never really even heard of drag before. Van Smith, of course, does Divine's makeup and hair in the films, but Lockery had been doing it for parties and stuff like that. And it was Divine who introduced him to Waters in mid-1960.
Oh.
Lockery drifted away from the Dreamlanders around 1974, which is the time Female Trouble came out. And I believe he died in his New York apartment, apparently, bleeding to death after falling on glass while on PCP.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah, he was into the harder stuff, they said. But to the point where he was going overboard with it, Now, I think all these people did every type of drugs just to try it,
I guess so.
Yeah. In fact, like later in life, I believe it was like last year or something, Mink stole somebody else and John Waters all got together to do acid one more time because they hadn't done it in years. And he said it was amazing. He was like the waves and stuff in the water they were by was just alive.
Should you be by water when you're doing acid?
Well, his house is by water.
But should you be by the water?
Well, they weren't right by the water. They were looking at, he lives in an amazing house in Baltimore.
Okay.
But no, he even said like there was one point where he saw like Divine singing and stuff like that. So it's a very sweet acid experience. But
Sweet.
but David was the biggest influence on Divine to not just be the pretty girl, and to step outside the box. John Waters always said, he also wanted to get Divine away from those traditional drag things and break all the rules of gay culture and drag queens. In fact, John himself pokes fun at gay culture. Like I said, he said that seeing a gay man dressed in a drag miming to Judy Garland records makes him want to become homophobic. So he wanted to push Divine in a different way, and it works. That's the thing, doing the opposite.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Back at the trailer.
Hey, back at the trailer.
Babs is cooking the meat that she stole. Crackers is still naked, sleeping in the blood from his fuckfest.
I love how it just cuts to him just laying in a puddle of blood, just sleeping like a baby.
And then all of a sudden he's back in the house.
Oh, yeah,
I don't know. So while they're all sitting around talking or whatever, and a mailman shows up and everyone grabs a weapon. And Babs is pissed that anyone was there because they live out in the middle of nowhere.
There's no address.
She's like, there's no address. Well, she opens this package and it's from the Marbles, which we knew that.
Yeah. And I love how they address this package, a trailer out in the middle of the field.
Yes. From the filthiest people in the world.
Yeah.
In the package is a turd.
Yes.
So she freaks out and says this is an attack on her divinity and harmony. She says someone will pay for this with their life. And they think it was Cookie at first. And Babs says that these people are jealous and they're trying to take her title. She says no one can be filthier than Divine and they will have to die.
And Divine, I think she's the best actor in this movie. I said she, but you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he is monologuing like a motherfucker here.
Yes.
It's great. In a scene earlier when Connie and Raymond mail the turd, that we see, that was a real mail office and a real worker, by the way.
He's like, what the fuck?
He is. Like, he's like, what? It's addressed to where? By the way, the turd in the box, Divine actually did shit in a box the night before. So that thing sat until they filmed the scene. So when he opens it to look at it, the look on their faces is genuine because it stank.
You couldn't just,
No, he wanted to elicit a real reaction.
Play-Doh is cheap. It's cheap.
Brittany's over here. I did. They had fake dog do back then. They had to have fake dog do.
Chocolate.
Nope. Got to do it real.
Toilet paper roll.
Well, I think that's what also lends to the whole, a lot of people really mistook this for like, it was real. Like.
Because they're doing some real shit.
Yeah, because they do some real shit.
Anyway, while Connie and Raymond are away, Channing dresses up like Connie and is acting like Connie.
Which is something, we all do. We all make fun of our bosses and shit.
Oh,
It's
yeah.
that anti-authoritarian thing that's present through all of John Waters' movies.
Oh, yeah. And when they get home, they hear that he's talking and like making fun of them or whatever.
Yeah.
And he's reenacting their sex conversation.
It was fucking hilarious scene.
So he had to have been listening.
Yeah.
So they go in and start yelling at him and slapping him. And he cries and says that he can't be in the same house with these women. And that he was just playing this whole time.
Mm-hmm.
So they fire him and tell them that they're going to check all of his things for her clothes. He again says that he was just playing, and he steps into the closet to get undressed, and Raymond calls him a closet queen and locks him in there.
Yeah, literally puts him back in the closet. There is a deeper thing I feel to this scene. Does it not feel like this is like a parental thing where parents are catching their son doing something extremely gay and they're ignoring it and forcing him back into the closet?
Yeah.
Is it just, it
it
just
does
feels
feel
like
that.
Yeah. That happens a lot. Don't act like this.
Right.
I was just playing.
It's
very, I don't know, man. It hit me like on this viewing. I was like, oh shit.
I didn't even think about that until you said that.
Yeah.
Maybe that's why he didn't rape that woman.
Well, yeah, because earlier on he's talking about how he no, that was a cut scene. I'm sorry. There is a cut scene where he's sitting there explaining to Mink Stoll's character, Connie, how he hates fucking them. He's like, I hate that. That's the worst part. And, he comes up with a way later, with the syringe. That's why he does that.
Oh, okay.
So he doesn't
that
have
makes
to have
sense.
sex with them because he's gay.
Right. That makes sense.
Yeah.
So back at the trailer, they decide that they're going to have the birthday party anyway. But first, the Eggman asks Edie to marry him. He says after the party, he's going to take her to the largest poultry farm so she can eat all the eggs she wants.
It's a very sweet scene.
It'd be sweet if there wasn't just eggs everywhere.
Just eggs everywhere.
Just all over her titties.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So the birthday party starts, and Connie and Raymond are watching from far away. Babs is opening her gifts, and she gets this random shit, including a pig's head.
Yeah. Well, it's an iconic shot from the movie. So you wondered what they were sniffing at this party. You asked me, and you were like, what the fuck are they sniffing there?
Yeah.
Those are poppers. Alkaline nitrates, I believe is the scientific term. But basically, those give you a quick high, and it lasts a short time. And from all accounts, does the same exact thing weed does for me. So they never really sounded appealing, even though you can go buy these in any sex shop and stuff. They sell them as room deodorizer, which do not use poppers as room deodorizer, people.
Why?
It'll fuck your head up. In fact, if you drink the poppers liquid. Okay, so back in the day, they were literal poppers. You see those little tube things they're holding?
Yeah.
They crack them, the poppings. That's how it got its name, poppers.
Yeah.
And you would sniff it, and it gives you like kind of a quick rush and stuff, and relaxes your body and stuff, supposedly relaxing the anal sphincter. That's why they're very popular with the gay community.
I got you.
And supposedly it makes orgasms more intense and stuff like that. But like I said, weed does that to me. So, I never really looked into it. But like I said, you can buy these in sex shops. At the time, you could buy these over the counter at stores, and supposedly the poppers back then were stronger,
probably so.
They did more for you than they did, later now, because now they sell them in little bottles, kind of look like.
Are those things that people do? Not whippets. That's not what I meant. like bodybuilders do them.
Yes,
wake up?
actually, do you see well, actually those are smelling salts. That's a completely
That's what I
different
was.
thing.
Okay, that's what
I think it's in the same family.
Okay.
I just don't think it's the same, but it's never appealed to me. I'm fine. Like I've never really looked into poppers or really cared about them, but but that's what those are. And also, you noticed a Nazi here.
Yes, I did see the Nazi.
There was some deleted scenes, and that was actually a character called Patty the Nazi, and
okay.
she had a few scenes that were cut from the film.
Because we don't need a Nazi in our filthy film.
It's really funny. The scenes they cut aren't even outrageous. They're just like, they don't need to be there.
A lot of the scenes don't.
Yeah. We are getting to the scene.
Oh my God.
Yes.
Anyway.
Yes.
So they have all kinds of performances at this party, including a man that makes this asshole sing. Connie and Raymond leave. They seem a little offended. And they find a payphone, call the cops, and say that they are repulsed by this party going on. So the police are walking up and Crackers sees them. So they all run away and hide. But when the cops approach the trailer, they all attack them and kill them and eat them. Then when this is all over, Edie and the Eggman leave.
They're married now.
I guess they got married on Babs's birthday party.
Well, yeah, why not? They have a whole giant party. Now, the infamous talking asshole.
So you had to talk about the asshole.
I have to talk about the talking asshole. This guy wanted to remain unknown.
I assume so.
Yeah, he asked to be anonymous, and John Waters obliged. But it's been said that he told his closest friends and would even hand them the videotape of Pink Flamingos. Be like, you want to see a movie I was in? Not telling them what it was. And even at the premiere, he pointed it out to somebody he was with, was like, hey, recognize anybody? Just having a blast with the fact that he was in this movie.
But he wanted to be anonymous?
Yes, but he only told his closest friends. Now, this was apparently a yoga exercise, and he told John that when his parents died, the plus about his parents dying was they never found out about this.
Thank goodness.
Yeah, but this is all done to Surfing Bird. Mow, 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 mow. Yes. Everybody heard about the word. The bird is a word. And I can't hear that song without thinking of this guy's fucking asshole talking to me. It's fucking horrifying.
I had nightmares.
Brittany discusses
nightmares about this.
Brittany
scene.
discusses those nightmares in our Shooting the Shit episode that came out this past Friday. So go if you want to hear more about the singing asshole, go check out that. Now I'm a reveal something because sadly the singing asshole passed away in 2020. Last year.
Oh.
God, could 2020 get any worse? We lost the singing asshole. Brittany's look right now. But his widow gave the go-ahead to go public with his identity, so let's all pour one out for David E. Gluck, the singing asshole man.
I just don't have any words.
It's okay.
Don't try to do this. If I walk in and you're trying to sing with your asshole.
I don't know. It's honestly, just as pure aesthetic of it, it's pretty fucking impressive because this asshole is opening and closing. I don't even know how you
don't know you can't do that.
Can I do that? Is that something everybody possesses? Because that's a fucking superpower. I don't know how you would open and close your asshole like that, like fully wide and then shut it down. And it is insane. Like it's just like, whop, boom. I added sound effects. That's weird.
I think that it would be a very easy thing to do. You've never exercised your butt muscles?
Bend over and show me your asshole talking.
No.
Can you do that?
No.
You can't do that.
I can do it.
You can?
And am I going to do it to you?
You can't open your asshole as much as the singing asshole man.
I bet I can.
Sorry.
I do enough Kegels.
I really want to see this. But if you show me, I'm going to sing Surfing Bird.
I'm not going to show you.
Everybody's hurt. The bird is the worst.
I do not voluntarily show you my asshole, okay?
No, but I see it every day.
Not every
Not
day.
every day, you know. At least once a week.
We don't talk about that, okay?
Ladies,
had enough
all
of
of
you.
us see your asshole when things are happening. It's a fact of life. Be proud of your asshole. The singing ass man was proud of his asshole. He didn't tell everybody, but you know.
I was about to say he got paid for that, but I don't think he did.
Nobody got paid.
Anyway, I'm tired of talking about this.
You don't want to go in an hour-long conversation about the singing asshole.
We've talked about him enough this week.
We have.
Okay.
Oh.
Connie and Raymond are driving, and Raymond makes Connie like wait in the car while he walks up on this woman, shows her his dick with this meat on it, and she shows her boobs, and he's getting really excited. So then she pulls her dress back, and she has a dick.
She has a dick bigger than his.
This freaks him out, so he leaves.
Oh, God. Oh, okay. This is a really funny scene. But this was Elizabeth Coffey, a transgendered woman at the time of her appearance in this film. She had just undergone hormone therapy to develop breasts and female features. Now, she had complete gender reassignment surgery, or bottom surgery, I believe is the term now.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
You know, a week after her film was seen. Or her scene was filmed.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so in Waters' next film, Female Trouble in 1974, she appears as a female character, you know. She actually still stays in contact with Waters to this day and has been involved in several AIDS-related charities. But no one had seen something like this before.
Oh,
when
yeah.
this movie came out, so this was shocking.
Oh, yeah, I bet it was.
It was, you know, whoa, like, that lady has a dick. Like, that is extremely shocking back then. And transgender women weren't exactly talked about. I don't think the term transgender really came out until decades later, you know.
Right.
It was never a thing. I believe they used a lot of offensive terms. Like,
Yeah.
Transvestite and stuff like that. I think transvestite is the offensive one now, right?
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Okay. I'm learning, everybody. I think we can all learn. It's okay.
We're learning as we go.
Yes.
So Babs gets the Marbles address from people in town, and she shows up at their house with crackers. They start looking.
Every time you say crackers, it cracks me up.
That's his name.
Oh, it's great.
So they start looking around and trying to figure out how they fuck in the bed. Why?
I bet they sit here and they rub their pathetic little organs together. I love her monologuing through this entire scene.
Ugh. So they start touching everything in the room and moaning really weird because they're like turned on by this.
Yeah.
Then they start licking and spitting on things.
Which there's one part, and this is the part that got you. When you were drinking a drink, you gagged because Divine is like sitting there, she's like licking stuff, and she's like juicy and just spits.
And I took a drink at this point. Oh, that was the worst time. I put my drink down. I was like, okay, I'm done.
They said the lady that they rented this house from was so excited. She was like, Divine licked my banister. Divine licked my banister.
Okay. And Cracker says that the house is going to react real good. And all of this turns them on. So Babs decides to suck Cracker's dick.
Yeah. I needed an unsimulated blowjob we get here. Were you expecting this? I had seen this, so I knew what was coming.
No. And when she got on her knees and he was sitting, I was like, no.
This isn't happening. This isn't happening. No, wait. So
and we see it.
Yeah, we see it. So John has said he really regrets. This is about the only scene he regrets because it's so out of place at this time. And, you know, what he was aiming for doesn't make any sense in today's culture. You know what I mean? Around the time Pink Flamingos was shot and released, hardcore porn had just become legal. and popular due to the release of Deep Throat, the Linda Lovelace movie. So the whole scene works as a tribute and kind of a joke to the insane jump to hardcore pornography and the fact that the public was consuming it, making it popular, but yeah, so again, in this day and age, it feels out of place. It really does. But these two were friends also. He really feels it's one scene that he would cut,
Oh, wow.
Yeah. But licking people's furniture truly does curse them, I believe. I think I want to try this.
Just going to lick people's furniture?
Lick people's fucking chair if I hate them. Yeah. Like now nobody who doesn't like me is going to invite me over anymore. And I'm happy with that. They're like, that motherfucker's going to lick my chair.
Like you go places anyway.
I don't, because I don't like people.
That's why there's 700 movies in here.
Yes. Danny Mills plays Crackers, and I believe he retired after this and moved to New Orleans. But apparently he really regretted playing Crackers and kind of just slipped into obscurity. He passed, though, in 2017. So
why did he regret it?
I don't know. It's hard to really
because he got a blowjob from his mommy?
Well, maybe. I don't know. I mean, honestly, out of this whole movie, that's not even the grossest part. But
no.
I don't know. It's really hard to research Danny Mills because I think he even changed his name. So, like I said, he slipped into obscurity. You don't find a lot about him until the obituary came out in 2017 that he had died.
Oh. So Connie and Raymond are at the trailer and they're pouring gasoline everywhere. Babs and Crackers find Channing and he begs them to let him go. He says the marbles aren't there and just the girls in the basement. Mm-hmm. So they go to check out these girls and the girls are begging to be let go. They tell the whole story about being kidnapped and trapped down there, and Crackers lets them go. And Babs gives Channing to the girls and gives them a knife and says, you do whatever you want with him. Yeah. So they cut off his dick and leave him there to die.
Yes, a little bit of justice was served here.
Poor Channing.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of sad.
This is the saddest part to me because he really, he really
didn't want to do this.
Right. He did some bad stuff, but he was their slave boy.
That's true. Okay. See, that's a whole new light. That's depressing.
He was doing what he had to do. He was their slave boy that lived in the house.
Yeah, that's true.
Those were the slave girls that made babies. He was too. He just wasn't chained up.
Oh, that's a good point. I like that read. One thing that's kind of cool about this, though, it kind of feels like you're watching a play. Like this whole movie, the way they're acting and stuff. It's like
I'm just glaring at you because a play.
Well, yeah, it kind of feels like a stage play, the way it's acted out and the way they shoot things. I mean, this whole scene right here is just one long take.
So a play from middle school dropouts.
Oh, that's sad. I mean, some of them were dropouts, but come on. Give them a break. What's really funny is these guys, a lot of people are like, were they hippies? Were they beatniks? They're kind of beatniks. I would more call them freakniks. Like I said, none of these people fit into any of the minorities they were a part of.
Right.
The gay community, they don't really fit in there. They fit in with their people. Like, that's the funny part. Like, it's weird. It's weird to like explain, like, because they weren't hippies. They were making fun of hippies.
Right. Incels. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh, no, definitely not. These people were fucking.
Oh, yeah. Chickens, mothers.
Yeah. I love some of the stories. If you guys have got, if you enjoy our month here, go read some of John Waters' books because he talks about the gay clubs he used to go to because just sitting there having a drink with a friend and talking, and all of a sudden a dick comes through a hole and knocks over his drink.
Nice.
And they laugh about it and move to another table. But, because there's no sex clubs anymore.
So Connie lights a stick, throws it into the trailer. Then we get to see the trailer burn all the way to the ground. Babs, Crackers, and Cotton show up to see what has happened, and they decide to go back and get the marbles.
Yeah, how they got to die. Now, there was a scene planned that would have had Connie catch her hair on fire, and they couldn't afford a stunt woman, so Mink Stoll was going to just do it herself. But,
fuck.
But luckily they changed her, she changed her mind, and John Waters has said he's glad she did, because she probably would have ended up in the hospital. He would have been in jail.
Right.
Now, the trailer burning, the sound was done by crinkling cellophane. Wrapping paper and stuff into a microphone. So all this was like done silently, but it's a long shot of this trailer burning down to the ground. And I guess if you're going to burn your one set piece down that you built, you want to get that $100 worth of footage.
$100.
They spent $100 on this trailer.
That's not bad.
No, it's not. I mean, honestly, you could have fixed this trailer up. It would have been usable.
So Connie and Raymond get home and they say they need to celebrate because they are the filthiest couple alive.
Yes.
Connie sits on the couch and it pushes her off.
Like I said, the curse.
Then the chair pushes Raymond off and they go to find Channing and he is gone.
Yeah.
So then they go to check the basement and find him dead with his dick cut off. And they keep saying they're going to call the police. What good is that going to do? What are you going to do?
The couch is...
The couch pushed me off, and our enslaved people are gone now, and one is dead.
If your furniture rejects you, think about what your dates are going to do.
What the hell? So Babs and everyone show up and tie them up together, and they try to lie about who they are, but that doesn't work.
Oh no, of course not. Everybody knows who you guys are. You're fucking pathetic.
Yes.
Well, and honestly, I feel like Connie and Raymond try too hard. I think that's what makes them not as filthy.
Right.
With Divine, you see her walking around, floating almost, pissing on people's grass, shoving meat up inside of her dress between her legs. It's
and then cooking it and eating it.
It's effortless,
right?
So yes, if this was real,
Divine wins.
Divine wins.
Oh yeah. So they take Connie and Raymond to their land and call in the press. They say that they're going to have kangaroo court.
Yes.
And the press asks if they're going to witness a murder. And Babs says, yes. Duh.
Yeah. I mean, we didn't call you out. What did she say? We didn't call you out here to jerk off.
Right. There's a lot more to this scene.
There's
a lot more to the press.
And there's a lot of awesome lines from Divine, like the one where they're like, are you a lesbian? She's like, yes, I've done everything. Right. They're like, does the sight of blood turn you on? It does more than that. It makes me come.
I do add that part.
Oh, do you? Oh,
yes.
Okay. I'm sorry.
So Cracker says that this isn't murder. It's suicide on their part. Cotton says it's the best thing ever, by the way.
Yeah.
They ask her if murder makes her happy, and she says that murder merely relieves tension. For murder to bring happiness, one must already be happy. And she is completely at peace with herself.
It's kind of terrifying.
I kind of like this. I kind of relate.
I have problems. Yes. I'm laughing. You're like, yeah, you know what, Cotton? You got
right.
a point.
You're right.
I think it's kind of disturbing that you're agreeing with these.
One day.
Oh, God. Don't worry, everybody. I'll keep an eye on her. Although I forget about things, so
he sleeps.
My bad.
And he sleeps.
I do sleep.
So Divine says that blood makes her come, and she loves the taste of it.
Yes.
They ask what her political beliefs are, and they are kill everyone now, condone first-degree murder, advocate cannibalism, and eat shit.
I feel like someone has that tattooed on themselves. Somewhere in this world, someone has tattooed that on themselves.
I'm going to have to tattoo Cotton's saying on me.
Yeah.
I really resonated.
There's a lot of tattoo ideas coming from this movie. I really feel like I've changed my course of direction. I really feel like I need to get a Divine tattoo. I think that would be hilarious.
Anyway, Divine says that filth is her politics.
Yes.
So they ask what she's going to do after this because there will be an investigation. She says, I'll just move to another city. Okay.
All right. And I love the trial here. They start up because they have a podium. Where did this podium come from? I don't know.
They do.
Yes.
So they start their trial, and it's just Cotton and Crackers testifying. Divine says that they are guilty, and Cotton and Crackers say that they should get the death penalty. So they tie them to a tree, tar and feather them. Then Divine tells the press to get ready, and she shoots them.
Yeah, right in the head.
The press just leaves like nothing fucking happened.
Well, this is obviously a commentary on the press, you know, like they're just all excited to sell some papers.
Right.
Like this is
they're leaving and they're
sell for sure.
Yeah. So they decide to move and they want to go to Boise. They're gonna completely change their appearances and have a great time.
This is it. This is the topper. This is like the cherry on the filth fucking Sunday.
See, it could have just ended here. This is we
But
don't.
you gotta
need
end
this.
on something else because shooting people in the head. Fuck. You've seen that in a bunch of horror movies and shit like that. In movies at this time and age, shooting people in the head isn't a topper. You know, you gotta do one thing that sends your movie over the top, because this whole movie has been built on the fact that things get progressively more nightmarish as we go. So we need one more thing.
So they're about to head out to go to Boise. And there's a dog. It shits, and Divine eats the fresh dog shit.
I love how you're like, there's a dog, it shits, and then she eats it.
What else am I supposed to say?
Good boy.
Am I supposed to be like, and then she eats dog shit?
A lot of people say it like that. Now, yes, Divine really did eat shit here.
You know what's funny though?
What?
Why did you?
You're
so
sorry.
aggressive.
I didn't mean to be aggressive with that.
What?
What the fuck you want? I'm talking about the dog shit scene.
I am too.
Okay, go ahead.
But it looks like as soon as she puts it in her mouth, it looks like she's about to puke.
Oh, yeah, that reaction was real.
Okay,
like
I thought so.
You know, he really was about to throw up.
Yes.
And they fed this, like I said, they treated this dog as a king. You know, much better than the chicken. This dog had steak and all sorts of awesome food to get
so it would
shit. Yeah, but it never did. They could not get this dog to shit to save their lives. In fact, someone had to like give it a sort of like they had a vet give it like an enema.
Why did they could have used chocolate?
Because apparently the dog was constipated. I'm assuming from all the steak they were feeding. I don't think you can just feed dog massive amounts of steak.
What the fuck?
But anyway, so it shit, and Divine went for it. Afterward, I love the story. Afterward, you know, they're sitting all around high on hash and weed, and Divine's freaking out. Like, Glenn's sitting there freaking out, like, what the fuck? What am I gonna die? I ate dog shit. What's gonna happen to me? So he calls the hospital, and pretending to be a concerned mother, asking what would happen if his special needs son just ate dog shit.
Oh my gosh.
And they said the worst that could happen is you might get worms. And of course, all of them just busted out laughing about that.
Called fucking poison control.
Yes. There is a fetish actually that comes along with eating poop, and it's called coprophilia. And I think I said it at the top of the episode, but anyway, yeah, people really do get into eating poop. And that was a misconception a lot of people had when they met Divine. They assumed he just liked eating dog shit just from this movie. And he's like, no, I did it once and I'm never doing it again.
He's like, shut the fuck up.
It was just one thing. I wanted to do this. And like John Waters said, it kind of made him a star. Oh, but Divine, like I said, he only did it once and did regret it afterwards. But what could you do to top this insane film? Divine never lived this scene down, much to his own disappointment. He made his mother promise never to see this. And when she asked,
hopefully she didn't.
Yeah, she didn't. But if she did ask, you know, did you really eat dog shit? And he replied, oh, you wouldn't, you'd be surprised what they can do with trick photography, Mom.
That's what they could have done, okay?
Yeah, so
they could have done trick photography.
Because like I said, Glenn wanted to be a serious actor. You know, he did play him as a man. He played a man in a movie with Chris Christopherson. The name escapes me, but it's a really good noir movie. Now, there was an idea for a sequel. Surprisingly, there was an idea for a sequel. John Waters wrote one, and it was called Flamingos Forever. And it would have taken place 15 years later, and has Babs, Cotton Crackers, and Miss Edie return to Baltimore to face off against Connie Marble's sister and her husband, a mortician who's also a necrophile and owns a mortuary. Hilarity
As you
ensues.
should.
As you said.
If
That's the only
you're
way
a
you can go.
necrophile.
Yeah, obviously. Trauma. Trauma, in fact, actually offered $600,000, which is actually a big deal because they usually
Wow.
only do $500,000.
They didn't have $600,000.
No. They offered $600,000 to do it, to get it made. But, because of Edith Massey and later Divine's death, Waters dropped it. You can't make a Pink Flamingos without Divine, Edith Massey. Lachlan's gone. Fucking Crackers isn't there. I mean, the whole cast is pretty much dead.
Right.
You can't do another Pink Flamingos. Okay, so Pink Flamingos, honestly, to sum it up, it's an exploitation film for an art crowd. It's not an art film, and it's not quite on par with Herschel Gordon's shit, And strangely, it does better with a smarter audience. Not saying if you don't like it, you're dumb, but you either love it or hate it. It's fucking obscene, but in a joyous way. In fact, it's been banned a lot, and it's been cut to hell when it's shown on like television and some theater screenings. This movie has been said to be unstreamable, in fact, so you can't really find it on streaming service except the Criterion Channel. That's right. The Criterion Channel actually put out Criterion editions of some of John Waters' early films, which even surprises him because he's like, how did me, an outsider and a filth elder, he's like, how did I become accepted? And now I'm an insider. He's like, how the fuck does that happen? But anyway, Pink Flamingos was picked up by New Line Cinema, who at the time had the balls, and they were not scared to release anything. They were hurting for projects, It gained its popularity mostly through word of mouth. And it wasn't until the Elgin Theater in New York City picked it up and played it alongside Alejandro Jodorowsky's El Topo that Pink Flamingos kind of picked up its cult audience. It was put on the midnight schedule on Friday and Saturday nights, and it soon gained that cult following it needed of filmgoers who would flock to the Elgin, at first mostly gay downtown hip people, but it then broadened, becoming popular with working class kids from New Jersey who would make a rowdy party about the screenings. They would learn lines, recite them with the characters, and it's a phenomenon that would actually mostly become associated with the Rocky Horror Picture Show in 1975.
Right.
So Pink Flamingos may have done it first.
Dun, dun,
Dun,
dun.
dun, dun. Now it's considered now this is considered a classic of American cinema. It is hailed
I don't believe
as
you.
a classic,
I don't
even though
believe you.
you won't see it screened at the Museum of Modern Art.
Thank God.
Well, they can't. They can't screen an insemination scene or fucking a blowjob. So okay. This is the question. This is the question I get a lot. Why do I think it's so important to queer art and cinema, though?
Yeah, fucking tell
why
me.
do it for Pride Month? Well, in my opinion, even though it's not just that the director's gay, that's the easy answer.
Right.
But in my opinion, beneath the insane pink 1950s camp is a beast wanting to lash out against society and its opinions on queer culture. You think we are depraved and sin-filled? Well, take a look at this, fuckers. The film reels off every imaginable sexual taboo at the time into a spiraling madness that has the feel all it's to its own, queer punk, flipping the tables on those who think gay and LGBTQ community is sick and hellbound. No film has ever struck this type of balance.
Sorry.
That always freaks me out. This type of balance, it's like a perfect mix of punk attitude and camp, proving that flipping the tables and leaning in on the unpopular opinions is an important part of queer art, And of course, with Divine, my God, here you had someone who's freakish and beautiful at the same time somehow. Someone queer and proudly different, and to a lot of people, a select bunch of weirdos, when Divine smiles at the camera with dog shit in his teeth, they were proud to be queer. And I'm not just pulling that out of my ass. I've actually seen people talk about this movie that this movie changed their lives. They would first have seen the Rocky Horror Picture Show, and if that opened the door to queer culture, this fucking shoved them through the door and dragged them across the concrete.
It's okay to be who you are.
Exactly.
That's what this shows.
The best line ever comes from Waters' film Female Trouble that I think sums some of this up, where Edith Massey delivers the line, "I'm afraid you're going to work in an office, have children, celebrate wedding anniversaries. The world of heterosexual is sick and a boring life."
Oh, I like that.
Edith Massey herself in real life commented about hanging out at gay bars. You know, when people would ask her, you know, why do you do that all the time? And she said that queers were just better people.
Truth. 100%. 100%.
And honestly, one line in this movie still remains true to me today. It's kind of personal. There are two kinds of people in this world: my kind of people and assholes. I think it sums it all up.
Yes.
But enough about what I know and think about this flick. What did you think about 1972's Pink Flamingos?
Okay. And you were going to ask me this.
I know.
And I came up with an answer. I think that if I was given a choice to watch this movie again or eat dog shit, I think I'm going to try some dog shit. If Divine can do it, so can I.
And you know, I think Pink Flamingos in these kind of movies do speak to a type of people like me, you know, like, cause some people, you know, a lot of the queer community, they don't really like this film. They think it's problematic. You know what I mean? And maybe it is in a certain light, but you know,
I wouldn't say problematic.
Well, people find problems in anything now.
That's true.
I mean, I already said the drag queens and the transgender community are kind of battling. I don't know why. I'm staying out of it, but let them figure that out. But you know, like I think it does. It speaks to a certain type of people. You know, like not. You know, we're both bisexual, queer, whatever we want to call ourselves.
Right.
So like, it's not just that. Like, you don't have to be queer to enjoy this movie. You know?
Right.
Heterosexuals actually love this movie. Like,
right.
A lot of people love this movie. Everybody people who love this movie love this movie.
I was like,
you know?
no,
it's not just, you know, gay communities or anything like that. You know, it's.
I will say, as much as I am repulsed by this movie, repulsed. That's a good word. I can see why you like it, because you like movies that push the envelope.
Yeah, I like to feel uncomfortable. I like to giggle at my uncomfortableness. Like,
right.
I like when a movie does something different. And even though Pink Flamingos, God, 1972, you know, around the counterculture era and shit like that, it still has the ability to shock you. Even today, you know, you go back to Herschel Gordon Lewis's gory movies and stuff. Those aren't shocking anymore.
Right.
Like, not by today's standards, but Pink Flamingos. My God, no one has ever done something like this and done it real.
Oh, yeah.
You know, done it authentically.
Right. And that's okay.
Yeah.
I don't need more of this.
That's okay. Now, okay, you know, I would have loved to have gone on next week and done like Female Trouble or Desperate Living or or any one of the other movies that are more along the lines of this movie. But I figured I'll give you a break from this kind of shit.
Thank you.
So we're gonna dive into one of Divine's movies. I think this was before Hairspray. Next week we're doing Polyester. You know, which is a pretty good movie.
Is it? The way you said that didn't sound very convincing.
I don't like revealing anything to you before we record. You know
that's true. That's true.
But I love that movie, and we have an authentic odorama card, so we're going to be sniffing along while we watch.
But does it still sniff?
Yes, it does. I was assured it still has a little bit of sniff left. So.
Did you sniff it?
You have to scratch it. So I didn't want.
Is dog shit one of the things?
I think poop is one of the things.
Okay, I don't need to. I'm good.
Well, then I will sniff along and let you guys know about it.
Sniff along.
But no, like maybe we will do a commentary on Female Trouble or something like that. That would be kind of fun, you know, or Multiple Maniacs or something like that. Those Multiple Maniacs would be really hard to do a regular episode on. It is wild. There is a a giant lobster rape scene and all sorts of things. It's
What the fuck?
it's out there. Divine's in it.
Did you elaborate on the chickens?
Yes.
Okay.
I think Brittany's losing her mind. This week has been a little weird for you.
I don't ever want to eat eggs again.
Oh, yeah, eggs. We're kind of ruined. Eggs are
You were
kinda
like, the other day you made breakfast for dinner,
Uh-huh.
and you're like, does anybody want eggs? I'm like, fuck you.
Fuck you.
No, I'm good.
But anyway, that's Pink Flamingos, and that's our first episode of Camp Waters. I'm having a good time. I think I'm having a real good time.
You owe me.
I do owe you, but I think honestly you're gonna like the 3 remaining films on Camp Waters.
3
schedule.
remaining
Yeah,
films.
3 remaining. You know where
I
we're
like the way you said that.
remaining. But like I said, polyester's next week, and it's more of a narrative. So
By the way,
yeah. By the way,
I don't know if we talked about this last week.
Okay.
But you're gonna have to look because my phone's dead.
Uh-huh.
But it's our 2-year anniversary.
Oh my God, it is.
It's like this week.
Yeah. This
Sometime.
week. Yeah.
Happy 2 years.
2 years doing this.
It does not seem like that long.
It doesn't. 2 years and 106 movies later.
Holy fuck.
Yeah.
I've seen
Interesting.
106
You've seen 106 movies. Well, again, we talked about casual horror is worked into there. So maybe you've seen like at least 90 movies at least.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
I've seen 106 movies in my lifetime.
There you go. But anyway, I'm Lee Evans saying stay spooky.
And,
And happy 2 years. Happy 2 years. I interrupted Brittany again.
He's going to die. If this episode doesn't come out, it's because he's dead. How would you know? Because then it wouldn't be out. Anyway, and I'm Brittany. Stay horrific.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for listening. To get a hold of us and submit your stories, fan mail, and death threats, you can find us on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and nightofthehorrorfile.com. Our theme song was written and performed by John Brennan, used with permission. Find John at shopjb.bandcamp.com and at badtechno.com. If you like what you hear, leave a good review wherever you listen to podcasts and share the show on your social media. See you next week.